Questions started when this secret tunnel was discovered in a hidden basement wall.
Before long, it was clear a visit here used to be very dangerous, but those who made it considered themselves lucky.
Not many people buy a house sight unseen, but then this isn't just any house. It has a strange tunnel that leads back in time.
It wasn't until we got here and saw all the documentation and saw the house itself, realized how important it was in the history of our country.
The farmhouse they bought in Bloomington, Indiana was the site of one of America's riskiest revolts, dating back to the days before the Civil War.
Down in the basement, and there's a big hole in the wall here.
Yeah, what do you think of that?
I don't know, what is it?
Well, you know, when we first did our walkthrough on the house, we just thought it was crawl space.
So you didn't think anything out of the ordinary?
No, not really. But, you know, it has something amazing to do with the history of this house.
What Maggie had discovered was the entrance to a secret tunnel. But who built it and why? To find out, Maggie began exploring her farmhouse, looking for clues about who lived here and when.
I think probably the first 3 feet in, I knew that it was what I thought it would be. And every room that we went through, it got better and better and better.
First came some finds outdoors that suggested the house was at least 100 years old.
That's our dinner bell.
The 1840s farmhouse rung Maggie's bell in every way, and vice versa.
This is actually the original well on the farm, and it's still viable today.
Maggie was just fascinated with the old-fashioned farm's country charm. She found this artifact in the shed.
It's a rocking horse, weather vane, handmade.
And this hidden in the garden.
I've had it dated. It's a hammer. Isn't that amazing? Look at that thing.
Then she unearthed this.
Whoa, you're scaring me with that thing.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
That is quite a knife. And this is handmade?
Handmade. I took it to an expert, and they say mid-1800s, which places it perfectly for the original family here, and I barely had to sharpen it. It goes right through a tomato. I love it.
But you've cleaned it since the 1800s.
Well, yeah, once or twice. Yeah. But it was kind of a magical feeling to reach in there and pull that out, kind of like out of a stone or something.
Like King Arthur.
Yes, like Excalibur.
Excalibur.
The artifacts dated the house to the mid-1800s, a time frame that led her to suspect that the home's secret tunnel was secret for a good reason. She hit the books looking for answers and was shocked by what she learned. The house was built by Reverend John Ferris and his wife, Agnes. The couple had 10 children, nothing out of the ordinary there, but the real surprise was finding out why the Ferris family had moved to the Midwest.
The Ferris family were farmers, and they came out of Scotland, went into South Carolina, and left South Carolina to come to Indiana because they were strongly opposed to slavery.
Maggie was stunned to find out that her house had been built for escape as part of the Underground Railroad.
It was an incredible feeling, just incredible feeling.
The hole in the basement was really one side of a secret passage that had collapsed.
What we believe is that this is the entrance to the tunnel, and if they were in danger, they could just get into the tunnel and scramble on down.
The tunnel runs underground several feet to safety.
And this is where the tunnel came out. This is the original milk house on the property.
According to local archives, the Ferris house was a very busy stop on the Underground Railroad, right up to the end.
The night that Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, there was actually a man in the house, a runaway slave, named Robert Anderson.
Reverend Ferris and his congregation gave Anderson a piece of land to start a new life. Maggie is amazed to think the man had been given back his freedom while in her house.
After learning all you have about this place, does it affect the way you live in the house?
Well, I'll tell you, Mike, there isn't a day that goes by that I don't think about what this house represents and how lucky I am to live here. I have an overwhelming sense of pride for the family that was here before us that did all this.
Maggie is still putting down her own roots in the house, but the Ferrises and their good deeds are never far from her mind.
When you stand in front of something and you think, wow, people actually hid here. People's lives were saved in this home. That's what I love the most about the house.
Remember, you never know what your own walls might say. Until the next If Walls Could Talk, I'm Mike Siegel. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Or